James Bell of the Boxing Source here with another video, and this video here is to talk about the fight between Jermall Charlo and Dennis Hogan that will be on Saturday, December 7th at the Barclays Center. It will be shown live on Showtime Championship Boxing starting at around 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Time, and that will be the main event there at the Barclays Center. Jermall Charlo will be making the second defense of that middleweight title against Dennis Hogan. Have talked about this particular fight before when it was originally announced that these guys would be facing each other. You do have Dennis Hogan that did have his fight against Jaime Munguia earlier this year, where he could have won the WBO light middleweight championship, but the decision did not go his way. On the flip side, you have Jermall Charlo that's undefeated 29-0, is the WBC middleweight champion. He did move up from the super welterweight division, was able to become the highest ranked contender for that WBC championship, but was not able to, fight the WBC champion at the time. He was able to hold an interim championship and had defended it once against Matt Korobov back in December of 2018. But then when Canelo Alvarez was, you know, chosen as the franchise champion of sorts there by the WBC, that meant that the WBC's World Championship would be handed to Jermall Charlo, and he was able to defend that championship against Brandon Adams in June of this year and was able to get a unanimous decision victory there. But now he's going up against Dennis Hogan, that's coming in with a record of 28 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. He was there at the super welterweight division for a majority of his career. Did have that loss to Jaime Munguia, like I did say, and back in 2015 he lost to Jack K by unanimous decision. But going into this particular fight, this kind of is a semi disappointing fight for those that have followed Jermall Charlo here in the middleweight division. Ever since he's moved up to middleweight, he had that, like I said, his fight with Jorge Sebastian Highland to get that mandatory spot there in the WBC rankings, followed by his fights with Hugo Centeno Jr., Matt Korobov, who was a replacement for who was supposed to fight, which was Willie Monroe Jr., and then Brandon Adams. And he's been trying to position himself with fights against Gennady Golovkin, as that was, announced as a potential fight that could have happened this year, or maybe late last year, after Golovkin lost to Canelo Alvarez, but that fight never came to fruition. There was also, that possibility that he would fight Daniel Jacobs, but that never came to pass either. So, right now, this is, what is ahead for Jermall Charlo is the fight with Dennis Hogan to defend that WBC middleweight championship. And we gotta look at the landscape of things there in the middleweight division. Canelo Alvarez, of course, is moving up to fight Sergey Kovalev in the light heavyweight division. And Daniel Jacobs, while he is a top-rated contender there in the WBC rankings, there's plans of him fighting Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. in the super middleweight division. So after that, you really don't have that many available fights out there for Jermall Charlo. Of course, you do have the WBO champion Demetrius Andrade, but really don't see that fight happening between those two guys either. So that kind of like leaves Jermall Charlo there pretty much holding the bag of sorts. They're at middleweight where all these other fights that are being made with a lot of the notable middleweights out there: Canelo Alvarez, Daniel Jacobs, Gennady Golovkin. He just had his fight with Sergey Derevyanchenko. Now seems like he wants to fight Kamil Szeremeta. So there really isn't that much out there for Jermall Charlo, but Demetrius Andrade. But I just don't really see that fight coming to fruition. So with this fight coming up with Jermall Charlo going up against Dennis Hogan, you really don't have very viable options, I would say, for Jermall Charlo, not just in the WBC, but with the middleweight division as a whole. So it's going to be a tough, next 6 to 8 months to try to figure out what the next move will be for Jermall Charlo if he can't get a fight with the likes of a Canelo Alvarez, a Demetrius Andrade, a Gennady Golovkin, or a Daniel Jacobs, or any one of those well-known middleweights. There could be that potential fight with Sergey Derevyanchenko if they find a way to get him in those WBC rankings. But other than that, it looks like this is pretty much as far as Jermall Charlo could basically go, is fighting the likes of a Dennis Hogan, or if you look into the WBC rankings, you have Liam Williams, Hassan and Dom, Toriano Johnson, or Masi Selecki out there that did fight Demetrius Andrade and lose to Demetrius Andrade earlier this year. But that's pretty much what we have here as we look ahead to Jermall Charlo facing Dennis Hogan to defend that WBC middleweight championship. After that fight happens in December, we'll have to see where Jermall Charlo goes next in the year 2020. Be sure to subscribe to the Boxing Source here on YouTube and catch the Boxing Source radio show Sundays live at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:30 p.m. Pacific Time on Blog Talk Radio, or you can catch the podcast on your favorite podcast app. On that note, folks, I'm out. Peace.